Here we go. So we can see our friends over on YouTube, their comment. Hello, Amanda. VA, Virginia in the house. Hello, Glenda. How are we? How are we? All right, it looks like we're ready to rock and roll. Let's see. Hey, Diane. How are you? Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've seen you on a live. The carrot bunny theme. Oh, you loved it. Okay, so this is what she's talking about. We did this in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group. Isn't that just adorable? It's so cute. It turned out super festive, very simple design to do. So we did this in our Wreath of the Month Club group, and we also made a little Peter Cottontail. I love the buffalo plaid. You know, it's just so popular. Using it other than Christmas. Isn't that cute? Turned out super, super fun. So we did do that in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group. And hello, we've got Melissa from Georgia and Mia. How are we? How are we? If you are new to the page, I want to welcome you. I am Julie Siomacco, owner of Southern Charm Wreaths, where we make beautiful wreaths and teach you how to make and sell them. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to this channel to be notified the next time we do lives so you can join in on our fun of wreath making. Okay, so I figured tonight we would make a Deco Mesh St. Patrick's Day wreath, and I know it's a little ways away for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm trying to get some stuff populated on our blog so that when you guys are really ready to make a Deco Mesh wreath, you can always refer back to this video or our website and you know, get some inspiration. So we're trying to work a little bit ahead of the seasons, if that makes sense. Let's see. I'm just going to try to move over. I don't know why. Let's see. I don't know why. I try to look at the comments over on YouTube, and for some reason, they don't show me all of them. California, oh my gosh, so it's kind of early there. We're on the East Coast. If you don't know where I'm at, and you're like, what's that Southern accent she's got? We are in South Carolina of United States. I know people watch from all over the world, which I am just so inspired by that and amazed at how the Lord uses me and my creative talents to inspire so many people from, you know, all over the world. It just is amazing technology, how it can reach so many lives right now, and especially during this, you know, time of, you know, COVID stuff. It's just amazing that we can connect with each other, even just on social media. Thank heavens we have that right now, right? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to bend my little camera down just a bit so you can see better. We have our work wreath, and this is I call it a 24-inch work wreath. Sometimes, depending on where you buy it, they might measure differently. So if you measure your needle ties out this way, it's about 25 inches, and the frame is 15 inches. So sometimes, depending on where you purchase, they're going to label things differently, but to me, this is a 24-inch work wreath, and these are what you use for a Deco Mesh wreath. It's got the little twist ties already added to it. If you want to make your own, you by all means go for it. You're just going to need to get a wreath frame and some pipe cleaners, but I like to buy something that's already made. To me, it just looks a little more, you know, professional, and it's a quicker method because it's already done for me. Oh, Justa sees my little Jasper down here. He is a 9-year-old Yorkie. Hey, Martha, thank you. So we're going to be using this is a jute poly mesh, a jute poly mesh from Deco Exchange. I got the wreath frame from Trendy Tree. We're going to be using a mixture of all the things from different companies that I like to source my materials from. So when you get started, we're going to roll out our Deco mesh just a little bit, trying to make some room. Sometimes the supplies just start to like crowd on me a little. Nobody else has that, right? Nobody else has an overabundance of supplies, right? Nobody. Nobody can relate at all to what I'm saying. I know better than that. All right, we're going to just unroll our 10-inch Deco mesh, and I'm going to take the mesh and I'm going to curl it under just a little bit on the edges. All right, and then we're going to create a little 3-inch tail. And this is what I'm going to use to attach to our wreath frame. So we're going to start on the inner wreath frame. So let me show you also too, your inner wreath frame is smaller than your outer wreath frame. It's an elevated wreath, so it gives you some definition. It gives a little bit more depth to your wreath, making it more dimensional on your door. So that's fun. So we've got the inner wreath frame with all of the twist ties, and then we have our outer wreath frame with our twist ties. And that's what I mean when I'm starting with my inner ring. Just going to roll through, making my mesh loops. We're going to do 10 inches wide, long I should say, 10 inches long. The mesh is 10 inches wide. We should be able to remember that, 10 and 10. So what is everybody's plans for the weekend? Who's going to be wreath making? Nancy's in Chile, Massachusetts. And Jacqueline says, I love to watch you create. Love you too, Jacqueline. All right, I'm just going to adjust some of my loops a little bit. There we go. Just making these 10 inches, needle ties to needle ties, and it's like twisting a bread tie. Here in the States, we all about the white bread. At least I am. Trying to go back on that keto diet. I've done really good. This is like day 5. The trick is the weekends, though, isn't it? Whenever you're on a diet, getting through those weekends. I'm just going to attach another mesh loop. We're going to be working all the way around the inner ring. So if you want to use the 21-inch mesh, you can. It's just, to me, it's a little pricier, to purchase, and I don't really think it's necessarily needed. I've been using 10-inch mesh for a couple of years now with the poof method. Just poofing all the poofs. It's called the poof method. Deborah's going to be wreath making. Hello, Central PA. Do you have snow on the ground? I have another friend from PA, and she sends me snow pics all the time. And I'm like, I'm jealous. The mesh is 10 inches, Diana. All right, let's just poof that out a little bit. And so we've gone all the way around the inner ring. Okay, so we've got all the way around. What we're going to do is bridge from the inner ring to the outer ring. So I'm going to take my mesh and then just connect it to the very next tie and twist. And then we could start on our outer ring. Jennifer's going shopping for ribbon. Now that sounds like my kind of weekend. Just working around from tie to tie. What color is this? Okay, so the color of the frame of the wreath is burlap, and then the color of the mesh is a green. It has a lime green jute string through it. And it also has a cream colored jute. One little tip for making your Deco mesh wreaths is just to push the push the mesh down into the frame as tight as you can. It's going to be okay if it rolls back and forth a little bit. By the time you get all the stuff on it, you'll be fine. All right, Cheryl's giving us insider tips. She's saying Sam's Club has their spring collection for $6.97. So Cheryl, did you see that recently? Because last I heard, they had discontinued their spring line of ribbon, but maybe they got some back. Maybe they saw all these crafters trying to craft during COVID, and they're like, let's bring some spring ribbon to them. My mesh twisted just a little bit, so let me fix that. Lynette's going to be opening up her Etsy shop this weekend. Lots of people are working their wreath businesses. Oh, specific colors. Let me see if it's on here. Fresh green cream. They're calling it fresh green and cream, if that helps. Oh, so they do have your spring. So if you like ribbon as much as we do, head over to Sam's Club and check it out. They have their ribbon. It's usually under, it's like 50 yard rolls, and it's under, depends on where you're shopping, but typically it's under $10. For us locally, it's usually less than that. All right, so I've gone all the way around the outer ring. See how I've got all the way around my outer ring? All right, so now what we're going to do is another layer, a third layer in between these two. And to do that, all I'm going to do is take my mesh, make my little poof, and I'm going to untwist the outer ring tie and then lay it in. And twist it back. So this is just going to help fill in the gap a little bit better. Shirley says, what version of keto? I didn't know that there was a version. I didn't know that. So I was keto a couple of years ago for at least 2 years, and it did really well. I don't know what version I'm at. Yes, Lynn, it's live right now. She's like, is this live right now? We see you, girlfriend. Lynette says her Sam's doesn't carry ribbon. Well, check it out, because they didn't used to have the spring ribbon for a while, but maybe somebody's saying they got it back, and they all come at different times. They all come, you know, they put it out at different times. Just measuring, measuring, measuring. Debbie, I'm doing 10-inch on the poof length. Hey, Shirley from Texas. They're saying Hobby Lobby, somebody's saying Hobby Lobby is carrying less supplies. Well, let me tell you what's going on, and which could be the case. I don't have the insider scoop with Hobby Lobby. Have nothing, I don't know anything about that. But I'm just going to tell you what I have experienced within my own business and my other supplier friends. They're backlogged. COVID backlogged everything, you know, because we have a lot of stuff. Silk flowers, not all, but majority of the silk flower stuff comes from China. And, you know, COVID hit and they got backlogged. Then you have the import with the cargo ships backlogged, and you know, once the cargo ships were halted, you know, for a good 6 months or so or longer, and then they start back up, you know, so it just takes a long time to catch up, and they're all backlogged. So it could be that might be what's going on with Hobby Lobby. Just everybody's a little thin right now for spring, which typically means you're going to see a lot of sales at the end of spring because their product came in late and then they want to get rid of it, is what I'm thinking. Oh, Shirley said she's heard of the lazy keto, the dirty keto. Well, I have no idea what that means. I guess I'm the lazy one because I'm always lazy about everything else. All right, Miss Diane, have an awesome weekend. So I'm just going to trim this off my little bolt without trying to cut myself. There we go. And then we have enough to do a bow or add a little mesh to a wreath later. All right, so here is the tail, right? We don't want this sticking out. So we're just going to shove this inside, right there. Thank y'all for the hearts and the thumbs up. Okay, so we have our Deco mesh is on our wreath. Isn't that cute? It's looking good. What we're going to do now is add our ribbon streamers. We're going to be doing 9 strips of ribbon, 9 strips of each style. So I've got a 2.5 inch, and I've got a 2.5 inch, and then I have a 1.5 inch, and a 1.5 inch. So we're going to add these. The reason I'm adding this green over here to pair with this ribbon is to mix up our colors a little bit. So the colors, you know, I want the color to go around the wreath and not just be intermittent. We're going to be adding our ribbon streamers every other needle tie. I cut my ribbon streamers about 13 inches long. If you like longer ones, you can make longer ones. If you like shorter, you can do shorter. I kind of like my ribbons to flow a little bit over my loop. Lynette doesn't see the 3rd row of mesh. Well, let me show you, Lynette. Okay, let me show you. So we got the 1, and then we've got the 2, and then we've got the 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. I promise it's there. So once we add our ribbon streamers, we're just going to give it a little X shape, spread the ribbon out just a bit. We've got 8 twist ties on each ring. This is a 15-inch wreath frame. The black frame part is 15 inches, and there's 8 ties on the inner and 8 on the outer ring. So we've got 19 strips total of ribbon. And all I'm doing is adding these ribbon pairs. We've got our little shamrock ribbon, and we've got our buffalo check ribbon. Stephanie was working on a St. Patrick's Day swag. Ooh, that sounds really pretty. Thanks, Jacqueline. We've got more tutorials on our website at southerncharmwreaths.com. If you like deco mesh, we've got silk flower wreaths and other St. Patrick's Day DIY. southerncharmwreaths.com. So you see how we've gone through the inner, and I'm going to just work on the outer. You could do the inner and outer at the same time. Instead of twisting it, turning it. Just do whatever you like. Don't be afraid to just start. So it's a lime green-ish wreath base with our deco mesh, and then we're intermingling it with shamrock ribbon, buffalo plaid ribbon. What is this, like a natural colored ribbon with the black and white edge? Hey Lily, girl, I've seen you on 2 Facebook Lives today. So Lily does wreath videos in Spanish. What are we doing to the ribbon after you bend it in half and place it in the ties? All I'm doing is making an X with it. See how it's just an X? Do you put the ribbon on every pipe cleaner? Yes, every needle tie gets, every set of needle ties we're putting ribbon on. The ribbon is what'd I say, y'all? 13 inches. All right, so we're going to take this, fold it in half and pinch, and then we're going to take the needles, untwist, lay it down, twist back, and then separate. This is just building up my base so I have something to put all my pretty flowers on. Melissa, this is a 10-inch mesh. I dropped one of my ribbons. So most of this ribbon, I think, I got this from Deco Exchange. This one might have come from Greenery Market. Okay, our last one. What's the white square on my little fur baby? That's his diaper. He's a leaker. We have to protect the floors somehow. Can't quite make it to that door. All right, so we've gone all the way around. Isn't that pretty? All the different colors and textures. I'm going to go ahead and add a sign in the center. I'm going to be using this Shamrock Lucky sign from Deco Exchange. Just going to turn this over, give this little string a trim. You can use pipe cleaners. Do I want pipe cleaners? I think I'm just going to use florist wire. Got my staple gun. It's a heavy-duty staple gun. And I'm going to use some ribbon. Just going to trim about 1 inch. And my staple gun is a 1/4, my staples are like a 1/4 inch thickness. And I don't want it to come through the sign. So I'm going to bend my ribbon over it. And then a staple. Wow, I just went right through that wire. That's a first. Let's try that again. Okay, there's one. Two. Just going to put a little glue right here because it's still a little loosey-goosey. Hello, Misty. Well, Jen, thanks for being here. She said, I love learning from you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad. Let's see, one more. And I completely missed it. Maybe I need to just turn. There. All right, now we have our sign that has the lucky charm on it. I'm just going to move these out of the way a little bit so I can make room for the sign. And my goal is just to get this centered in the wreath. You're welcome, Carol. Aw, she said thanks for helping with the videos. Thanks for helping her. I'm just going to tack this down for right now. I'm going to come back later and add, tighten it a little bit more. But for right now, I'm just going to put a little bit of tension so that I can still shift it around. My goal is to just get it centered right now. Thanks, Miss Darlene. Okay, let's see. Melissa says, you've inspired me. Got my own shop at my home, and I just started booze. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So if any of you are new, I have been doing this for over 10 years. I started wreath making for my own home. You know, I wanted really pretty things for my home, couldn't afford what I wanted, and I'm like, I'm crafty enough, I'll figure out how to make something. And so I started making my own door wreaths. So I do silk flower, this is Deco mesh, and after a while, my neighbors wanted to buy the ones that were on my door. They just wanted to buy it right from my door. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess I can make you something. Just make this a little tighter now. Remember, I said I was just going to anchor it. And then one of my neighbors said, have you started selling on Etsy? And I was like, what's that? And so I figured that out, how to sell on Etsy, which takes a little bit of practice and training, researching to get it going. And then once I did that, I started my website, and I noticed people were coming to me for inspiration on how to make wreaths. So I started doing videos and writing ebooks, and here I am today. I just can't believe how my wreath business has transformed into teaching. All right, so all I'm going to do is just go back and fluff my ribbons because I flattened them. And then we're going to add this up to my wreath easel. If you don't have a wreath easel, you can use, you could keep designing on the table if you want, or you could put it up on a door with a door hanger, you know, one of those metal door hangers. I like to get it vertical so that I can see what I'm doing. But our sign is inside of the wreath. Really, really pretty. And let me go ahead and move this up. All right, let's see, is that good? And then we're going to be zooming in over here. I'm going to move Mr. Cottontail. This is what we made at our Wreath Making of the Month Club last night. We made two, a carrot and a bunny rabbit. Let's move him out of the way. And then let's see if I'm going to put a wreath hanger. We've got a tutorial on how to add a wreath hanger to your wreath that you can go to southerncharmwreaths.com for more tutorials, especially our beginner wreath making tutorial. It's the Wreath Making 101 class. It teaches you just the basics if you're beginning, what tools you'll need to get started so that you don't spend and waste your money, because that's one of the things I did. I just bought too much stuff. And you know what happens when you buy too much stuff? You can't make a decision. You get a little overwhelmed. And then you just sit there, not making a decision. trim these off. Well, this one needs to be tighter. Let's see if I can get this a little bit tighter. Okay. All right, so we've got our wreath up here, and let's shift our little sign and fill in some of the holes that we've got right there. Don't be afraid to just manhandle it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to pull some of this mesh over the sign. I kind of like to have my edges of my sign a little bit hidden. So let's pull that over. And let's get the side visible. All right, that looks good. All right, so you can see that we've added all of our ribbon, our mesh. It's just layering, y'all. It's just layering. And now what we're going to do is add some greenery and some flowers. But if you want to stop here, you can stop here. You don't have to do anything else. Let's go ahead and find my greenery. And we're going to be using this. It just reminds me of shamrocks a little bit, doesn't it? The color, at least. Just going to trim these off. Going to trim these a little bit more because they're pretty long. Thank y'all for those who are answering questions that I'm missing. All right, so we're just going to trim. And I think, yep, let's just leave it that long. Janice wants to know what I'm going to use to cover the back of the wreath. I don't cover the back of the wreath. Just leave it just like it is. Okay, one more. And then we're going to start hot gluing these. And I'm going to just do it around the needle ties. I'm going to dip it over here in my hot glue, which is right here. You could use a glue gun. I used to use a glue gun. But when you start making a lot of them, you try to find quicker ways of doing things. And so I decided to take a hot skillet from that you fry chicken in and melt my glue that way, just as a way to save time. I do not sell wreath supplies, no. But I buy them. Oh, do I buy them? That one might be a little too long. We'll see. So I'm just going to go around these needle ties and hot glue my greenery in. I just love greenery and flowers. I can't imagine a wreath without it. Crafting is it's just a great way to relieve that stress of the day, isn't it? Or the weekend. All right, so I've gone all the way around. This one feels a little bit long right here. So I'm going to give him a little trim. All right, so I'm going to now, let's see, I was trying to see if I had enough. I'm going to start going through the inner ring too. Actually, let's just keep adding around the outside. So who made a Valentine's wreath for their door? It's about time to hang it up. I just can't believe how fast January was. It just flew by. Did it fly by for anybody else? Okay, we're down here now. Trying not to get in front of the camera. Got a couple more pieces. Let's go up here. Okay, so we have gone all the way around the outer ring with some greenery. Sometimes I don't do the whole thing, I just do intermittent. every other, but I went ahead and did all of them since we have enough greenery, and it is St. Patrick's Day. So you can't have too much green. Irene's going to try to make it awesome. Where I purchased this greenery, this was from Greenery Market. So we got this one from Greenery Market. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm going to just start adding some greenery over here. Whoop. Got too fast ahead of myself and I dripped it a little bit. All right, so I'm going to quickly add these. Look how much texture that added. Doesn't that look brilliant? It looks brilliant to me. All the green. Now, if you want to stop here, you can. It's all about the layer, y'all. All about the layer. Now we're going to add, I'm going to add some flowers. I feel like we need some white fluffy hydrangeas. This is only the white fluff I'll ever see this winter. We do not get snow, ever. There was a lot of greenery in that stem, that bush. I don't have another one over here. It just went a long way, didn't it? There's a lot over there. I got these hydrangeas wholesale, but you can get these anywhere. Anywhere they sell hydrangeas. I'm just not a fan of the leaves on this one, so I'm not going to use them, and they're not really good for anything else. You know, sometimes I like to use leaves as filler, and they're just very see-through, and so I'm just going to toss it into the trash. And I've cut my stems about 3-4 inches, making my little snowball. I'm just trimming some of these a little shorter, and we're going to add these to our wreath. How many do I have? I always like to count first so I can have a plan of action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, where am I going to start? Let's do one over here. Oops, don't get the glue in it. That's one of the drawbacks when you have you're dipping in your glue. You might accidentally drop your flower in there. Right, so we've got one. Let's see, let's do one over here. Isn't that cute? It's just brightening it up, isn't it? It's giving another little texture added to it. All right, so now we're going to add them throughout the other side, the outer ring. My last one. Okay, so there's that. The only thing is I want to take this out. Let's see if I can pull it out and reposition it. Don't be afraid, y'all. Don't be afraid to just move it. It's only glue. Okay, so that's that. Isn't that pretty? That's cute. I'm going to be using some of our filler. It reminds me of baby's breath. Just going to cut these a little shorter, I think. Yeah. The greenery sets off the flowers. Yes, I agree, Carolyn. How many stems of greenery? I did not count them. I did not count those. Did anybody count them? All right, so we're going to just add these here and there. Y'all can do this. I know one of you is sitting there going, isn't that pretty? I wish I could do this. And I'm telling you, you can. Oops, I dropped one. All right, let's see where I'm going to put this guy. I think we're going to go over on this side. It adds another little layer of texture. Let's see. Okay. All right, y'all, I think we are done. Just go through and fluff up our ribbons just a little bit more. Isn't that pretty? It turned out so pretty and festive for the St. Patrick's Day. Something for you to try on your own door or your Etsy shop. Now you're going to want to make sure I get my little ribbons out of the way. There we go. Now if you want to add more ribbon streamers, you can. You can just make some longer. You can add a bow here if you want to add a bow. Just make it your own. Do whatever you like. Whatever is your fancy. Make sure you guys to join us and subscribe and like our channel so that you can be notified the next time we do a live. And I want to thank you for joining me. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope I've inspired you to try something new. And don't forget to go to southerncharmwreaths.com for more videos. Bye.